Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back once again. I am Nicodemus Kane. I am dropping video cords all over the place. Actually, that's a charging cord, whatever. Today is June the 28th of 2022. I am not in the best of spirits, but I will ask the Father that He helps me through this. Um, having the I'm having the old attacks of the devil come back around. Um, Many old habits are starting to reemerge, so I'm having to knuckle down, ask the Father to help me persevere through it. A lot of old lusts and desires are kicking in right now, and all you have to do is focus on the Father. Ask Him that He comes into your heart, and He will take this stain out of your mind, so that you can go forward with life. Um, I've said it before. Everybody is broken. Everybody has weakness, and the evil powers of this world, the high powers of this world, will do everything possible in order to tempt you, no matter what it is: drugs, alcohol, sex, violence, greed, hatred, anything. They will find a way to tempt you and push you back into the way that you were. And if you aren't aware of it happening and aren't able to keep that full armor of God upon you and push back and fight back and say, my God is stronger than this, I will overcome this, you may be consumed by it. We have all fallen short. We have all fallen short of the perfection that God looks for. But we have to keep trying. So today, I am asking Him to help me get through this. And it's not the end of the world. It's not. It's not like it's affecting me hour by hour. But it was enough that this morning I woke up and I said, it's enough. It's too much. I don't need that in my life. I need to focus on the future of my family. Focus on myself. Focus on the house. Focus on what is coming and what we need to be prepared for. So I need to trust in Him that He will help me put away other things so that we can move forward. That's what you have to do. Wanted to read Isaiah 6 today. Before we do that, there was that line, and I had this come to me this morning. The line from yesterday that I said I really, really liked from Isaiah 5. It was Isaiah 5:18, Woe unto them that draw iniquity with cords of vanity, and sin, as it were, with a cart rope, which is they are pulling their iniquity around. They're pulling their sin around in a cart with ropes of pride and ropes of sin, as if it were not only being shackled down by it, not only having it weighing them down, but they're proud of it. They're proud of their cart with cords of vanity. It's hauling your iniquity around for display. But the next part of it, I don't remember if I altogether got it, because at the end of that verse, there's a colon there, or a semicolon. I think it's a colon. It's the two dots. I think it's a colon. Anyways, it's a continuation of it that say, "Let him make speed and hasten his work, that we may see it. And let the counsel of the Holy One of Israel draw nigh and come, that we may know it." And I didn't really get it at first. And I don't remember if I covered this or not. But while I was getting ready this morning, for whatever reason, it came to me. They are the people that are hauling around their sin in their carts, are saying, "Let him come so that we may see it. Let him come so that we may know it. Let the counsel of the Holy One come so that we may know it." Because they are tempting God to come, because they don't believe that he will be there. They are saying, "We're going to parade this around the streets because he's not going to be here." It's the same thing as saying, "You have no God. He's not going to come and punish us. Who cares? We're going to go and we're going to dance naked in the Fountain Square, and there ain't nothing you can do about it." Which is exactly what's happening. What happened within the past week. You had grown-ass men dancing around completely naked in Fountain Square of Seattle in front of children, and they didn't care. No one stopped it. They just let it happen. Whatever. Sodom and Gomorrah. No, who cares? There's no standards anymore. Whatever. Just, let this evil just continue on. Who cares? Whatever. That's what happened. That's actually what happened. They video. There's video of this. But that's what that is. We don't care. We're going to parade our darkness and our evil and our sins around in the street because God's not going to punish us, because he's not here. Let him come. Let us see it, because we don't care. That's exactly what it is. It's exactly what this whole month has been. Your pride. You are displaying your sin and iniquity and unrighteousness out on the streets, and you are pulling it with your pride, your vanity, your darkness, and the good people that still refuse to shut it down are letting it happen because they've been told, "Oh, just turn the other cheek." You were supposed to put out. Yeah, what was I? It was I was listening to something yesterday, and the guy was saying something along the lines of he still thinks that we can come back from this. He still thinks that we can somehow pull ourselves back from the brink of this destruction. I don't know whether it's through praying or through whatever. He didn't really say. But he said that he thinks that we can still come back from it. And the only thing that went through my mind was the only way that you can come back from it is being proactive. You're never going to be able to come back from it by sitting on your hands and doing nothing. And that doesn't mean going out into the street and making confrontations and all this other kind of stuff. It means you have to come back to the Father. You have to be praying. You have to be fully armored up with the sword of the Spirit. You have to know that you have the ability when you speak to change hearts and minds. You have to get out there. Can't just be sitting behind a computer somewhere and just typing it out into the internet and hoping that somebody's going to listen. You have to be able to confront this and be ready for the backlash. And there will be no backlash because the Father will protect you. They can take you and they can chain you up, lock you away, do whatever they want to with it, but the Father will have your back. As long as you are in the Spirit, the Father will have your back. But people, they won't. They won't. If it causes them to have to work more than they need to, they won't get out there. I'm just as guilty of it. I don't know. I'm not one to go out and confront anyone directly. I have never been led to do that. I have confronted evil. I've spoken out more than just about anybody else I know when it comes to seeing evil in the world. And I have lost so many friends. I've lost friends. I've lost family members. I have family members now that can't trust me on both sides of the family. They just can't trust me because when I tell them the truth and they lock down on me, they shut down, they glaze over, and you just lose that. That's it, there's nothing left. Because they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. I've even said self-professing Christians, people that should know better, when you confront them with it, they don't want to hear it. That's what you have to do, though. I had a good talk with somebody over the weekend at the Flat Earth meetup, and she was saying she's lost everybody. She's lost her grandchildren. She's lost her children. She's lost her family because she speaks the truth, because she wants to speak the truth. And she understands that she has to get rid of all the worldly things, all the things of this world, because she lives in the truth, and she's more than prepared to lose all of that because they just won't listen. And that, I agreed with her. I said one of the hardest truths, or one of the hardest aspects of this whole thing, is that when you come to the truth, the hardest thing is to know not only does everybody not get to come along with you on this journey, but your own flesh and blood will be fighting and pushing against you. And that's one of the hardest aspects of it. But that is what's going to happen. Christ himself said he did not come to bring people together, but he will divide people. He will turn father against son, mother against daughter, brother against brother. He will turn everybody against each other. Because his word, the truth, it's here to divide. It's not here to bring people together. Because the truth is not what unrighteous people want to hear. Because the truth means that they have to pull out of their unrighteousness. And people don't want to hear that. People don't want to think, oh, well, my mother, my grandmother, my whatever, they're not unrighteous. They're not evil. They're not evil people. They're good people. But they don't want to hear the truth. Because if they heard the truth, then they'd have to change. They don't want to change. They don't want to hear the truth because the truth messes with their unrighteousness. God says he will let them live like that because they choose. He will let them live with the lie because they choose to live in their unrighteousness. It's a hard fact. And it's hard to see. And as someone living in the truth, it's hard to come to terms with. But I don't know. Let's read chapter 6 of Isaiah. See if there's anything in here that we can. Again, some of these, Isaiah, Jeremiah, and Ezekiel, the first half of these books tell you how bad it has been and how bad it is. I think even, was it Jeremiah or Ezekiel that says no matter how bad it is in the front where you can see it, it's always worse behind the scenes. The first parts of these books tell you how bad it is. The second parts of these books usually tend to deal with very specific places and people. So it gets, the message kind of gets a little lost and blurred, but there's things to it. I'm not going to go into each individual thing. I've been saying that since I started this. Because, these are usually really heavy books. But once you start getting into the place names and the king names, and the king's names and the people that were living at the time it was written, a lot gets lost because we're not there. That's depending on if you want to believe the timeline. That was a couple thousand years ago. Several thousand years ago. I think this is dealing 3,000 years ago or something. According to the truth, we don't know. This could have only been 1,500 years ago. We don't know. But that's not us. That's not where we are. We're here now in what they supposedly call 2022. We're not. So none of these names and none of these places really register with us. It's one of the things I think that's really hard about reading the Bible for people is that you're talking about these places, and the Bible does not. It's not like it's a fiction book where it has to describe whatever city is. This is a non-fiction book talking about real places that the person that was reading it at the time would have known. or you could at least go and look it up in a library somewhere. We can't do that anymore because all of the history of these places has officially been erased or is being hidden from us, and what we are given is probably not the truth. So it's hard. It's really hard for us to find out what this stuff is. Knowing the people of this world, they'd say Sodom and Gomorrah was real, but it wasn't. It wasn't nearly as evil. It wasn't nearly as evil. People say it is. They just had pride. That's all it was. Isaiah chapter 6. Have I said we're going backwards? It's what it is. It's like we got to a point and then the timeline shifted, and we're going backwards. Is that the end will come in the days of Noah, but we are right now in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah. So we're going backwards to the beginning because everything resets. Everything resets back to the Garden of Eden. I mean, pretty much. So it's like it's like an arcing timeline. It gets to the top, and then we're coming back down, and we're reverting back to the way it's supposed to be. So we're in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah. You're living in the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. It's happening right now. You're watching it firsthand. This is not the days of Noah. The days of Noah were far worse than this. Sodom and Gomorrah were bad, believe me. But God looked at Sodom and Gomorrah and said, "You know what? Those people are so bad. I'm gonna just destroy the world." No, He said, "I'm gonna destroy those cities." When He looked at Noah, the days of Noah, He said, "Everybody has evil in their heart continuously." We can't live with that. That's going to lead to a destruction that I can't fix. If I wipe it out now, I can fix it. So He did. I was listening to another video where they were going on and on about how ruthless and evil God is because He butchered all these people. It's like you have no clue. You can't even read the Bible to be able to understand why God did what He did. It may seem evil and cruel on your end, but read the book. He said everything is corrupted now. If I don't start over, nothing will be worthwhile. And not only that, somebody was saying it was in I think they said it was in Ezekiel, where they were saying that God was saying, do I take any joy in killing the evil ones or getting rid of the evil ones? He said, no, of course not. God doesn't take any pleasure at all in getting rid of the unrighteous. He wants us all to be better. He doesn't take pleasure in it, but He's going to have to eventually, because if He doesn't, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. He's seen it. He saw it firsthand. Men had nothing but evil in their hearts continuously. It was a really, really bad place. You have to understand that. Anyways, Isaiah chapter 6. In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw also the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and His train filled the temple, and His train filled the temple. I want to look up train. Let's go ahead and keep going though, but I'm going to look that up. Above it stood the seraphims. Each one had 6 wings. With twain He covered His face, with twain He covered His feet, and with twain He did fly. And one cried unto another, and said, Holy, holy, holy is the Lord of hosts. The whole earth is full of his glory. And the posts of a door moved at his voice, moved at the voice of him that cried. And the house was filled with smoke. And there is a paragraph break right there. I should have pulled this up earlier. Let's see if it's still... No. Okay. To Isaiah. Isaiah, what are we on? 6. Strong's. Remember, if you don't understand what a word means, especially in the KJV, you can always look it up. Because Strong's Concordance tells you that every word has a couple different meanings. The skirt and his train, his skirt, his robe. So he saw the Lord sitting upon a throne, high and lifted up, and his robe filled the temple. There you go. What does it say for seraphims? Oh, it even says it in Strong's. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, okay. So seraphim. I've said this before. Somebody actually disagreed with me on this. They said that's not what a seraphim is. And I was like, okay. A seraphim, the word seraph, is snake. A seraphim, an angel, it's a type of angel. Yeah, cherubim, seraphim, I can't remember the other ones. It is a snake. Strong says it's a serpent. It's a fiery serpent. It's a poisonous serpent, fiery from burning effect of poison. Seraphim, majestic beings with 6 wings, human hands or voices in attendance upon God. It is a snake. This is a serpent-like creature. This comes from the land of the plumed serpent. We talked about this before as well. These snake creatures that have wings. Some of the old legends say that these things had 6 wings. Some of them said they only had 2 wings. But the legend was that there was a snake god that came down that had wings on it, came down and gave men knowledge and power. Now, it doesn't say it in the Bible, but it says it somewhere else that Satan was a seraphim. He was a plumed serpent. The snake in the garden. Do you get it? He was the snake in the garden. The seraphim. It chills me every time I say it, because the connection there is so perfect. And people have fought me on this. People have said, no, that's not what it was. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but Lucifer was a fallen angel. And a type of angel is a serpent. They have 6 wings. Seraphim have 6 wings. 2 of them that cover their face. 2 of them that cover their legs. Now, apparently these things have arms and legs. Okay, fine, I get that. But it's still a serpent. Now, God said, from this point on, you will be crawling on your belly whenever, he tempted Eve. So maybe he lost his arms and legs. I'm just saying. You lost your wings. You got your wings clipped, which is a thing that has been said. Is angels having their wings clipped, and you will crawl on your belly and eat dust. So that's some legit stuff. That's something that if you really want to follow, some tales, some stories, some interesting stuff, get into the plume serpent stuff. Get into the Seraphim. It's some really really interesting things, especially the old cave drawings of or not cave drawings. Listen to me, not cave drawings. Um, the old understandings that they used to have in in South America about the Amaru and what the Amaru actually was. And it's a dragon. Of course, it's a dragon. Why wouldn't it be a dragon? Well, of course. I just looked up Amaru. Just looking up Amaru and looking up a picture of an Amaru. Um, it's a dragon. It's got like a camel head with wings. Yeah, that's just part of it though. But there's others. You know. So there's something to it. There's most definitely something to it. And you talk about when they talk about plume serpents, and you think about Japanese dragons, the big long snake dragons that they parade through the streets that just happen to have wings on their heads. These things came down to Earth and gave men technology and power. Lucifer was a fallen angel. There is a story where Lucifer is called a seraphim. Put it together. Anyways, I could go on and on about it, and it just gets deep. That hole, man, that rabbit hole gets deep. It does. It gets really deep. You can follow that one down for a while, and it just gets more and more amazing as it goes. It gives you. I mean, you want pure and utter truth that there was an incursion of angels at one point in time, and you can't prove it. Yeah, but you need to have all those stories that kind of tie it all together. That's how you do it right there. You say, well, this was this, and these people believed in this, and these people say this was this, and oh, it's interesting that people on the other side of an entire ocean believe the same thing. The Bible even confirms this. There's something there. There's something going on there. It's really interesting stuff, man. It really is. Okay, verse 5. Then said I, woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For mine eyes have seen the King, the Lord of hosts. Then flew one of the seraphims unto me, having a live coal in his hand, which he had taken with the tongs from off the altar. And he laid it upon my mouth, and said, Lo, this hath touched thy lips, and thine iniquity is taken away, and thy sin purged. Also I heard the voice of the Lord saying, Whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, Here am I, send me. So while he was in here, he said, Why am I in here? I am just an unclean man living in a world of unclean people. But I am here. I have seen God. I am not worthy. If you I don't want to say this about everyone, but if you can't stop and just tell God, I am unworthy to be in your presence, then you are lying to yourself. All of us have fallen short. None of us are perfect. All of us have fallen short of the glory and the perfection of God. None of us are worthy, but He chooses us. He chooses us to be worthy. We have to live up to that. But this guy, Isaiah, he's in the throne room, and he sees God, and he says, "Why am I here? Well, I don't belong here." Then one of the seraphims came with a coal and laid it on his lips. Now we've seen this somewhere else. I don't remember where else we've seen this, where they've taken something and laid it on a person's lips or made them swallow it so that they can have the word. Now, I don't know if that's symbolic or if that's literal. I can't tell you that. But this touches his lips and takes his iniquity away, and his sin is purged. That's strange. And when his iniquity is taken away, God asks, who will go? Who will I send? Who will go for us? And then Isaiah says, here am I, send me. Why does that say Genesis 1:26? Let me see what that is. I mean, 126 is a big one, man. That's way up front. God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish and the sea and over the fowl and the creepy thing. Why does that have to do with this? And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then said I, here am I, send me. And the footnote says Genesis 1:26. Because he was in his image, maybe? It's weird. Again, these little footnote things, I don't know if they came in after this Bible was printed or if these were King James footnotes. I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of people that were saying, a lot of people that I met over the weekend that were talking about how bad King James was, and I agree. There are issues. We have a Strong's, and yes, I know I could go back to older Bibles, and I probably will eventually, but this is what I have. This is what I have. I understand how to work a Strong's concordance, so when something doesn't look right, I know how to look it up. But sometimes some of these little footnotes just a little weird. I'm just saying that right now, and I'm not perfect. I do not have any Bible teaching, nor do I want it. The Bible should be able to speak for itself as long as I can understand it. So I let the Bible talk for me, and I ask God. I ask the Father to give me discernment on it, which I think is what we're supposed to do. Hold on 1 second. I got a baby coming in. Okay, so I do have a little baby in the room now, so you might hear some stuff going on in the background. So let's keep going. Verse 9. You might hear my wife come in here a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Just play and just be quiet for me, all right? So, verse 9. And he said, go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not. And see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. It's good stuff. Then said I, Lord, how long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitants, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. And the Lord have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. There's a page break right before the last verse. It's crazy. Or a paragraph break right before the last verse. So he said, Yeah, she's doing all right. She she's back here looking through. She's back here looking through some of her stuff. And he said, "Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not." So go tell the people what I tell them. You can hear it, but don't understand it. You can see it, but you cannot perceive it. Because I'm going to show them something that they're not going to understand, but I'm going to tell them anyways. Make the heart of this people fat, make the ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert and be healed. So he's wanting them to hear it, but he doesn't want them to understand it, because he knows they won't understand it anyways. That the cities are going to be wasted. He's going to send destruction upon them, and they're not going to hear it no matter what is said. But he's going to tell them, which sounds very similar to what's going on now. You can tell somebody the truth straight to their face. You can show it to them right to their face 1,000,000 times over, as plain as day, and they won't hear it. Maybe that's what's going on with us. Maybe that's what. There's something there. There's something there. I will give you truth. I will give you every good word that you need to have. But no matter how much you speak, they're not going to understand it. Because lest they really see it, and they really hear it, and they really understand it, they will be converted and healed. But they're not going to. Something going on there. Hold on one second. Okay. Sorry, I had to go. Again. She's back here. She's wanting to show me what she's getting into. All right, verse 13. This is the last verse. It's weird. It's broken like that. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten, as a teil tree, Teil tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them, when they cast their leaves. So the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. Ooh, we just about dropped the water. You be careful, honey. But yet in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten. What are you getting into?
I'm making something.
Oh, you're making something, all right. What?
Look at me.
I see that. All right. Be quiet so I can finish this. All right. All right. What is a teil tree?
This big one.
Terebinth tree. What is a terebinth tree? An oak or another strong tree.
I'm making a tree.
But yet in it shall be a tenth.
I'm making a tree. Apple.
Okay. All right. And it shall return and shall be eaten, as a teil tree,
Apple.
terebinth tree. Hold on. And as an oak whose substance is in them, when they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. So there's something there to something about a tree.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, it goes to Ezra 9 too.
Oh, yeah.
Not right now, baby. Okay. All right. No, you don't need that either. That's my stuff. That's for work. That's my work stuff. All right. So there's probably something more. No. Give me that one back. Give me that one back. Because it's mine. I told you not to touch.
I want yogurt.
I know you want to color, but you can't. Not right now. Let me get done with this. This is what I put up with, guys. This is why I did not record all last week. It's because she kept waking up with me. I love the heck out of her, though. We have good times. So there's more to it. You guys might have to find out for yourselves what that is. If I get to record tomorrow, I will probably come back and we'll talk about it. Or I'll forget. You know how it is either way. But there you go, man. Isaiah 6. She tried to take my my bookmark. That's why I did it. There's my guitar she's playing with. All right, so I shall talk to you all later. God bless every single one of you. Take care of yourselves. I will hopefully talk to you tomorrow, and then we'll see what else we got going on. So take care, guys.